He came out in front of the White House. He had a piece of paper in his hands, and his hands were trembling. And he said the bond markets and the financial markets just froze up, and there's no liquidity in the system. Well, the headline in the Financial Times on Friday was words to the effect of a new liquidity crisis in the $28 trillion bond market appears to be here.
Carney's checkmate: how Canada's quiet bond play forced Trump to drop tariffs. And it goes on and it talks about the Prime Minister of Canada, I guess, or at least Ontario, Mark Carney. And he went to Europe I don't know exactly when, but he talked to Germany, France, Netherlands, and Japan.
Yep. This was 2 weeks ago.
Canada, maybe you know the whole thing.
I do.
Canada owns about $350 billion of our bonds and whatnot. And
that's right.
Let's see, Japan about $1 trillion, and Netherlands 1.5. Anyway, he began the sell-off. He began the sell-off that everybody that the rest of us heard about. But I hadn't heard anything till today that Canada actually instigated this.
Yes, they did. Well, it was a collaborative effort, and I mean, Mark Carney is the Prime Minister of the entire country of Canada, and he is the former chairman of the Federal Reserve Bank of Canada and of the Bank of England. So this is a guy who understands markets, right? I mean, he's got the job Jay Powell has, or he had. And so he got together with these countries representing about $4.5 trillion in U.S. Treasury holdings, and basically said, if Trump really tries to screw us with the tariffs, we can put a stop to that by simply dumping our bonds. And that's exactly what they did, to all indications. He did this very low key, by the way. You'll find an article about it in my op-ed today at HartmannReport.com. I also wrote about it on Saturday in the Saturday Report. And what happened was that the federal government, our federal governments, had to start raising the amount of interest that we pay on 10-year treasuries in order to get people to buy them, because there were so many flooding the market because, you know, Canada and the EU and Japan were dumping them. Number one, China, by the way, is sitting on almost $1 trillion of the treasuries too. And so number one, that happened. But then the other thing that happened is it's also driving down the value of the dollar. We have not seen the dollar fall at the same time bond yields go up since 1930. Well, typically when the dollar goes down, bond yields go down. Typically when the dollar goes up, bond yields go up. But when you see bond yields going up and the dollar falling, what that means is that the rest of the world is saying, you know, we're not sure we want the dollar to be the reserve currency of the planet anymore. We're going to move into German bonds. We're going to move into EU bonds. We're going to buy Japanese bonds. We're going to start trading in other currencies, euros, reals, yuans, you know, whatever it may be, and the British pound. And when that starts happening, the United States is in deep, deep doo-doo. And that's why Donald Trump stopped his tariffs. He had no choice. If that bond sell-off had continued for another day, you would have had a repeat of, remember in 2008 when Hank Paulson was the Treasury Secretary and he came out in front of the White House, he had a piece of paper in his hands and his hands were trembling, and he said the bond markets and the financial markets just froze up and there's no liquidity in the system. Well, the headline in the Financial Times on Friday was words to the effect of a new liquidity crisis in the $28 trillion bond market appears to be here, or words to that effect. So yeah, you're absolutely right, George. And here you got the Prime Minister of Canada kicking Donald Trump's ass around the block. He's not bragging about it. He doesn't want to make it into a big stink. But he got what he succeeded. He definitely succeeded. George, thanks for the call. Great to hear from you in Maine. Thank you very much.